Oh, good. How is this going to work? Aloha, everyone. Aloha. It's my great honor and privilege to introduce to you His Holiness the Dalai Lama. His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama was born in eastern Tibet in 1935. As a precocious 2-year-old, the course of his life was changed forever when he was recognized as the reincarnation of the 13th Dalai Lama. He soon began his monastic education and was destined to become the leader of his people once he reached adulthood. But world events interrupted this plan and abruptly changed the course of his life. Several years ahead of schedule, due to the threat of the advancing communist army, he was enthroned as the spiritual and temporal leader of Tibet. He was only 16 years old. Barely 10 years later, when his efforts at appeasement had proven unsuccessful, he was forced to flee during an uprising by Tibetans against their communist oppressors. The year was 1959, the same year that the people of Hawaii were commemorating the birth of a new state, while others were still mourning the loss of their kingdom. While statehood was front-page news in Hawaii, for weeks the rest of the world was gripped in suspense over the young Dalai Lama's fate. He and his party trekked across the world's most treacherous escape route, through the Himalayas, evading communist forces at every turn, desperate to reach the safety of India. That was a little more than 50 years ago, and the Dalai Lama has been a refugee ever since. During that time, he has remained steadfast in his commitment to nonviolence and a peaceful resolution with China based on tolerance and mutual respect. Today, he accepts that Tibet should remain a part of the People's Republic of China and asks for Tibetans only what the Chinese government has guaranteed in its own constitution: genuine autonomy over their own cultural, religious, educational, and administrative affairs. In 2011, at his own initiative and after architecting decades of democratic reforms, he officially devolved his political leadership to an elected body. This brought an historic end to the 369-year-old tradition of the Dalai Lamas holding dual responsibility over spiritual and temporal affairs. During his half-century in exile, the Dalai Lama has become a recognized world leader for peace and interreligious harmony. He has tirelessly traveled the world advocating the concept of universal responsibility, the notion that by virtue of our interconnectedness, we all share responsibility for each other and the natural world. His efforts were recognized by the Nobel Committee in 1989. In awarding him the Nobel Peace Prize, the committee cited his consistent opposition to the use of violence, his philosophy of universal responsibility, and his work on international conflicts, human rights, and the environment. He has been recognized with nearly 100 other international awards and honors. In 2007, at the U.S. Capitol, the Dalai Lama received the highest civilian award given by the United States, the Congressional Gold Medal. A Republican president joined a Democratic Congress and Republican minority leaders to speak at the ceremony. This was a rare moment of peace between Democrats and Republicans. The Dalai Lama really can work miracles. Which brings us to the topic of today's talk, advancing peace through the power of aloha. If we want to advance peace, we have to know what peace is and where it comes from. Peace is not merely an absence of violence. It is a sense of thriving and harmony with each other and our environment. But our relations with one another sometimes hardly seem peaceful. Whether we're talking about nations, politicians, or even members of the same family, finding peace can seem like a constant struggle. But here in Hawaii, we are blessed with a precious gift from the native Hawaiian people, and that gift is the power of aloha. Aloha points the way towards what makes peace possible. Aloha means many things to many people, but its essence has been captured in chants authored by native Hawaiians for generations and continues to be practiced by so many of the people of Hawaii today. Aloha speaks to 5 key attitudes and qualities of great spiritual and communal significance. Those qualities are kindness and warm-heartedness, unity, cooperation, and interdependence, joyfulness and seeing the good in others, humility and service to others, and patience and perseverance. Those familiar with the Dalai Lama's message will immediately recognize his central themes. The spirit of aloha is not something we should take for granted. It is a precious gift that can bring all of us peace if we sincerely practice its intent every day. To be inspired in this practice of aloha, we need to look to one another for support and encouragement. By the example of his life, His Holiness the Dalai Lama inspires all of us to see that even in desperate circumstances, peace is always within our grasp. Your Holiness, for millions of people around the world, because of the life you have lived and who you are the embodiment of compassion. For the people of Hawaii, you are the embodiment of aloha. Thank you for the honor of your presence and the gift of your wisdom. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.